Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on, our infamous roundtable gets together. We'll see what they have to say about a wide range of controversial topics, but between now and then some great information coming your way, including a discussion about a very important referendum to support education. We'll also see how fundraising can help a lot of kids, and we'll talk about connecting to help the community, all that and much more. But first, we turn our attention to a big event with three very special guests who are going to tell us about it. Holly May is filling in for Lori Bates today, and Holly's our director. Let's see our very special guest. On my right, good friend David Daggett, who's attorney with Daggett Schuler, a great community servant. He and Griff brought a special guest with them. In the middle is Denise Daniels. She's race director for the We Care 5K. She's a member and a great staff person there at St. Peter's Church. Next to her, of course, Griff Schuler of Daggett Schuler. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. David, let's talk about now. There's a big event coming up on November 17th. We're going to mention it later on screen, but just tell us now. Just give us a preview.
Yes, there's the We Care 5K. It's a terrific 5K race. It begins on the Greenway down at the foot of Old Salem, right in front of the YWCA there. It's put on by St. Peter's Church and World Outreach Center for their We Care House.
Okay.
And certainly Denise can
tell us about that. Yeah.
Sure.
Now, why this? I think you told me off camera, Denise. This is the second year for this. So why did y'all get involved to begin with at the church?
Well, our We Care House in and of itself is a way that we give back to our community. We distribute food and clothing to everybody all over the community that are in need. So one of the things that we needed to do was to make sure that we are self-sustaining.
Sure.
And so the 5K is a way for us to just fundraise for the house.
And did I read somewhere you have a garden too?
We do. We have a garden in the back, grow all of our fresh vegetables, seasonal things, and we use those vegetables to supply the house with fresh produce.
And Jim, the We Care House has been in existence for 17 years. Mm-hmm. It's a fabulous community outreach. I love the fact that they provide food and clothing for the community. It's not just for people that are in their church. I think that's outstanding. We were talking about the fact that when it was started, they weren't just going to limit it to people that are in the church. It's for the whole community.
True outreach.
True outreach, and
exactly.
that's great to get behind.
David, how did you get involved? I think you said you had a special responsibility, a special job with the event last year.
Denise called me, I guess because of my reputation, to help MC the race. And it sounded like a great cause and a great project, and Denise is very convincing when she calls you on the phone.
Right.
And so I said yes. I got out there, and it was a chilly morning, but it was a beautiful morning. And I was so impressed with Denise and all of her volunteers. We had two finish line greeters. One was 79 and one was 80 or 81. I said the average age was 80 of our finish line greeters. Denise was running around in a red coat. I called her the lady in the red coat. She was absolutely beautiful, and the awareness and the true commitment everybody had to the event and to helping our community, heartwarming for me. And as soon as the event was over, I said, well, let's get it on the calendar for next year.
Well, let's get it up on screen too. I want to make sure everybody sees this as well. We talk about it too. We Care 5K. It's Saturday, November 17th. Starts at 8 a.m. Now, to register, up on screen, you'll see a website for Jones Racing Company. I won't read the whole website out, but you can go to that. And the regular website you can go to is spwoc.com. I hope you'll check that out. And also a special thanks to David and Griff and all the good folks at Daggett Schuler. Their website is up there, DaggettSchulerLaw.com. Griff, I'm assuming you and David do a lot of these things, support a lot of things in the community. You don't have to run on this. You can walk, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely the case.
To run or walk, you can volunteer, or you can just come out and support.
Yeah, all are welcomed.
Right.
All are welcome.
Denise, are you going to wear red again this time?
I can't decide between the red or the teal this year.
So it's kind of a Denise Daniels fashion show.
I promise you she'll be beautiful.
That's right. Well, look, I appreciate y'all doing this, David and Griff, helping to support it. Denise, thanks for all you do in the community.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks for having us, Jim.
We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, Election Day is not that far away, but this is not a segment about politics. This is a segment about education, about growth, about the economy, and about saving lives. And I'll tell you how with this very special guest. Next to me, our good friend, Dr. Algie Gatewood, who is president of Alamance Community College. Welcome back to the show, sir.
Jim, thank you so much.
Let's talk about why this bond is so important. It's a $39 point some million bond that's going to be on the ballot. There's going to be a lot of stuff on the ballot, but this is very important to the voters of Alamance. We talked last month about how it's going to help train lab people and nurses and EMS workers, but there are also some other projects that would be covered under this, President Gatewood. And tell me about this Student Services Center that I hear about.
The Student Services Center is central to the entire teaching and learning educational process. That's where we do our onboarding with students, and that is the space that we use to help students stay engaged and to improve our retention, graduation rates, success rates. It's a support area to the academic piece, and what we have right now is essentially dysfunctional. So often I see students lost, they can't find it because the different parts, admissions, counseling, disability services, veteran services, financial aid, they're all in various places among the campus.
And then this, if the people vote for the bond, this will then house, all this stuff will be housed and coordinated in one-stop shopping center.
It'll be a one-stop center, and students will be able to get the counseling they need, the admissions, assistance they need, financial aid, everything in one place.
Now, also understand that you'd be able to expand instructional space and even house a child care facility. What's that all about? Why is that needed?
Child care center is 45 years old. Notwithstanding, it's a 5-star center. That's the best you can have. But we want to make sure that the center supports the teaching and learning with regards to our early childhood education program, which is the center is the laboratory for our teaching for the early childhood education program.
And that is so important to get them started.
Absolutely. It's important to get the children started, but it's also important to get our students ready for the real world so they can deliver quality services once they're finished.
Absolutely. Now, also, I think you sent me an email about something about that satellite facilities would be expanded or improved, something along that line with this bond?
Yes, we'll have an east satellite location and a west satellite location in Alamance County. On the west side, we'll have business-related programs, marketing, accounting, human resources, those type of programs to support industry. And by the way, there is a sizable cluster of industry in the western part of our county. I'm sorry, the eastern part of our county.
Right.
And then on the opposite side of our county, we will have healthcare delivery type programs. That's one of the fastest growing industries that we have in this nation. And we'll have it hopefully in close proximity to the hospital and other health care facilities so that there will be a really nice flow of training and skills development and working.
Go right into the job and the workplace from that. And I just think that's great. And we talk about access to health care and access to other things, but you're trying to improve access to education and coordinate it with the real world too. And I know this is all, people say $39 million bond, boy, that's a lot, should I vote for it? And I tell the folks at home, yes, please do, because look, you may come to a point, you folks in Alamance, where you might need to call EMS services, or you might need the services of a qualified nurse or a lab tech or somebody like that, and public safety folks. And they're all being trained and trained well at Alamance right now, Alamance Community College, but with this bond passage, they can really bring it into the 21st century and do a lot better job and make those folks even better that can help save lives. So please, when this bond comes up on November 7th, I want you to vote for it. It'll help everybody throughout the area. And President Gatewood, it also means that it'll be jobs for the future too.
Absolutely. That's the big part of what everything we do is about workforce development, job training, and the economy, and of course helping people. That's important as well. That's
a win-win. Up on screen, alamancecc.edu is the website, and you can find out all about the college, what's going on there. alamancecc.edu. Please check that out. President Algie Gatewood, thank you,
Jim,
sir.
thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and have a special guest with us right now. On my right is Mr. Brandon Cathy, and Brandon is Senior Advancement Officer for Cross North School and Children's Home, and welcome to the program, sir.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you in a second what you do, because I want to understand that title. But just before we do that, remind everybody who maybe hasn't seen some of our segments with Brett and some of the other folks, what Cross North is, who you serve, what the mission is about.
So our mission is pretty simple. It's to grow healthy futures for children and families by providing a Christian sanctuary of hope and healing. So we are serving children in the foster care system. and children and families in that system as well.
And these are kids who have been without families for any number of reasons.
Absolutely.
Loss of parents or whatever, and need a place, a refuge to grow up in.
These are children who are currently in DSS custody because they've been physically removed from their homes.
Bless their hearts.
Yes,
now, very quickly, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but just when it says Senior Advancement Officer, what does that mean?
So I participate in all sorts of fundraising initiatives. So everything from major gifts to annual gifts to in-kind donations. I'm also one of our community spokespeople. And so I go out and share, the word about
Spread
Crossword.
the word.
Yes.
Well, let me pick on you for just a second now, because you're talking about fundraising. A lot of people are under the impression when you have a children's home like that in school, and you're taking care of the kids and giving them a good environment, that Crossnor is one of those places they must get taxpayer dollars, and that funds the whole thing.
There are government dollars that are available to support our services, but about 40% of our annual budget comes from individuals and individual family foundations who are donating to support our mission. It's crucial for our program offerings to be able to provide that support. You want to think about it as the government dollars provide bare minimum standards of care,
right?
And then we provide everything else. So all the extras for that child to grow up in a safe, loving, warm environment. That's what we're there for.
I think you already answered this in part, but what's been the fundraising focus the last couple of years? You mentioned individuals, families, foundations, but what's been your focus?
So this year we've celebrated our 109th birthday on the Winston-Salem campus. So we've had a lot of infrastructure updates that have been desperately needed for a while. So our fundraising focus over the last couple of years has really been capital updates. So these are infrastructure upgrades that needed to happen, renovations, relicensing and reopening of cottages.
Yeah, you have the main buildings, you have the cottages, you have where the instruction goes on, you have the farm there. It's a big place.
Absolutely. So we've placed a priority on places where children can live, our staff works, and can provide services for those children. So that's really been where the focus has been over the last couple of years.
Now, what do you think that your future needs lie? Where are they going to lie? Will it continue to be capital type things, or where do you want to go?
Capital will be ongoing, but what we really need to work hard to do is build our annual giving base. Annual support dollars are crucial for our programs to be able to operate efficiently and for us to serve more children. Those annual support dollars will really help us stay strong in what we're doing.
Right.
About 80% of the dollars that we receive goes directly back into program services.
That's great. Now, how can people get immediately involved to try to give funds, or maybe even get interested in volunteering and helping with the kids? But what do you suggest?
This is a really exciting time of year to get involved with our organization. As you know, the holidays are quickly approaching. That means that if everyone could see the smiles on faces when they are opening Christmas presents, attending holiday parties, caroling, going out to do a Christmas play.
Right.
It is just the joy that this time of year creates for the children that we're serving is immeasurable. And folks could really participate in that by a couple of ways. One being an Amazon wish list that we'll create. It'll go live in November. That wish list is really all the items that'll be under a tree on Christmas morning in one of our cottages.
That's great.
So it's fun. It's a fun purchase for folks to make and to provide. Those items are shipped directly to our campus locations.
Right.
And of course, monetary gifts help us provide those experiences during the holidays.
And up
as well.
on screen, www.crossnor.org for people. If you want to go directly to the website, you can find out phone numbers. You can find out all sorts of information. You always need adults to come in and be screened and maybe become a volunteer or to help out with things there, but they especially need money to help upgrade the facilities. But you just do fine work out there, and I applaud what you're doing, Brandon.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks for everything.
Thanks.
We'll be right back. On Triad Today, we always like to try to kidnap this man and bring him over. He's so busy, and Shannon and the good folks over at NMAR have been successful in grabbing him today, so we have him for a few minutes. Next to me, the man who is a great community servant. He's also chairman and CEO of NMAR, David Mounts. Good to see you again, sir.
Good to see you too, Jim.
You know, folks who've watched the show before know we've talked about how much importance you put on innovation, entrepreneurship, But it's not just a concept that you talk about, because, and not to embarrass you, but I mean, you're sort of a hands-on guy and helping to make sure that these things grow, and it's not just a concept, it's something that really is making the area improve.
You're exactly right. You know, innovation, driving growth through innovation is a team sport. There's a whole lot of people in the community that are very focused on this right now, and I'm one of the people trying to work to align and amplify resources and to make the ecosystem work in a way that entrepreneurs can really have a wonderful environment to start up a business here.
There's an online tool, I think you sent me an email one day about this. There's a new online tool or something that helps get people connected.
Yeah, triadconnects.com.
Tell me about that.
Triadconnects.com is great. We did this with 3 organizations coming together that recognized a need that entrepreneurs had. Venture Cafe, working with Flywheel and Launch Greensboro, have created a site at no cost to entrepreneurs that you can come online and you can get access to mentors, advisors, people that have experience, and a whole bunch of information that's going to be very relevant to you if you're an entrepreneur trying to start a business.
Now, do I pay dues into this or something to get?
It's completely free of charge. And so the idea is, and we're going to be adding more organizations to it, we want entrepreneurs to be able to get access to the things that help them get their businesses going, make less mistakes, succeed earlier. And I have to tell you, Jim, if I was in the country anywhere and a young person and I was ready to take my shot, if I was about 30 years old, I'd learned enough to know kind of what I know, I'd come to Winston and I'd start my business.
Wow. That's fantastic. And I think because of the resources that you've made available through this with things like Venture Cafe and really helping people get connected, you guys have gotten some national recognition, so brag on that.
Well, and I want to brag on Karen Barnes and the Venture Cafe team, because I think she continues to do a great job aligning and amplifying the ecosystem, and people are noticing. So the first thing is there's a show that's on Amazon Prime called Self-Made, and we're going to be airing between now and Christmas. They've already begun the filming, and we're excited, and that's going to get the news out about what we're doing in this space. We're also going to be part of another series called Nationswell.com. And Nationswell is looking at the top 5 emerging innovation ecosystems in the country, of which Winston-Salem is one.
All right.
And we're in good company with places like Denver and Grand Rapids and others. We also had the NC Technology Association, which is North Carolina Technology Association, names 3 of our Triad startups as startups to watch.
That's great.
They're in the top 10 list. So 3 from here in the top 10 list, right? So the entire state, and that's Haystack and DayIsX and FlurryDB. We're excited about the recognition they're getting. And then we just recently had Orbital RX close a $718,000 seed round to get started. So our startups are shining in the state, and they're getting funding, and they're expanding. And by the end of this year, and if we don't make it by the end of this year, within a quarter or 2 after, we'll have more than 100 thriving new enterprises that just weren't here 3 years ago.
No, I mean, it's just like magic, but it's not magic. It's hard work from guys like you, and I didn't mean to embarrass you, but speaking of your team at Inmar, aren't you guys up for some kind of an award?
We also have been recognized. We have been nominated for the NC Technology Award for the Best Large Company in Technology.
Well, you mentioned Venture Cafe. We've talked about it on the show before. Karen's been on here before, and so we promised Karen and we would put this up on screen just to remind folks that on Thursdays, it's still every Thursdays. They get
every
together.
Thursday, a church for entrepreneurs, I call it.
That's right, a church for entrepreneurs. Venture Cafe, winstonsalem.org is the website. You'll see it up on screen now. And also, we want to give a shout out to the good folks, David's team at Inmar by Inmar.com. Check out all the great things that they're up to. I just thank you for all you're doing in the community, sir.
Thank you for what you're doing, Jim.
All right, David Mounts. We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, time for our round table, and on my right, let's meet him. On my right, always political left, though, Ogie Overman, an award-winning broadcaster and journalist. Next to him is the lovely, talented, smart, strict, she's tough. She's the president of Dudley Beauty Products, Ursula Dudley Oglesby. Next to Ursula is a man that Donald Trump likes to frequently refer to as his best friend.
There he goes. There he goes.
I knew it was going to happen. Didn't I tell you?
Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Worldwide. All right, guys and gals, let's get to this. This is bizarre. Last week, Donald Trump met with Kanye West in the Oval Office, where the rapper went on a 20-minute rambling rant about how much he loved Trump. couple of questions here. What was your overall reaction to that? And number two, will that support from Kanye encourage more African Americans to vote Republican in the midterms? Ogie.
Well, you know, they kind of deserve each other. They're both mentally disturbed, and they're kind of two peas in a pod. But no, I mean, whatever negligible effect he might have is far outweighed by people like John Legend and Common and Usher and real people getting out to vote.
To do issues and stuff. All right, Ursula, your reaction.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of sad, actually, because I do think that he has some mental challenges, and I think we need to do more to help the mentally ill. And I think that it's definitely not going to increase the support in the African American community by him being there.
All right, Keith.
Well, Don said last week that 2 Republicans. I think there may be 1 Democrat, and that's Kim Kardashian, that will actually switch over. But he does.
True.
He does have a point on certain things, and that is that we as black people should not be confined to a party. He does have a point.
Yes.
Right.
But what he was saying in the White House was total nonsense.
Kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
But see, you go around the country getting people registered to vote, and I mean, you do things like that a certain way, and you talk about issues, and this was just kind of strange. But anyway, we'll see. Taking a cue from Russian hackers, now a number of Americans are posting disinformation about candidates for next month's election. Facebook has already suspended nearly 1,000 fake pages. Guys and gals, are you afraid that domestic hackers will start deciding the outcomes of our elections? Ogie.
It has an effect. I really think that the Russians gave us the template, gave them the template, and they basically stole an election. So yeah, it's not surprising at all that there would be American hackers.
Ursula.
Yeah, it's not surprising. I hope that we can take a cue from what happened with Russia and Facebook and not believe everything that we read on the internet as being true.
Well, first of all, this has been happening. It's just been spotlighted now. This is not new that people are going and misinformation about candidates.
That's
and
right.
the things that this is.
But
all,
now it's so it's going viral.
It's going viral, but this has been happening. It's just now more out in the open.
Absolutely. In the old days, it was print pieces where you would tell lies about people, whatever. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, I just want to mention Ogie and Ursula want me to let you know they're both getting over colds, so if they sound a little different, they've been making out.
Don't tell her husband that.
Yeah,
If you tell her husband, Ogie, that's going to be Ogie's last making out session. Can you say that?
A Minnesota TV reporter wore a "Make America Great Again" cap while he was covering a Trump rally. The reporter then got fired for wearing that cap. Should he have been fired? I mean, can't you express yourself, Ogie?
No. That violates every rule of journalistic objectivity there is. Please.
Ursula.
Well, you know, I thought it was part of the story, so I don't know that he or she was endorsing him, but you know, I just thought it was part of the story.
I did too. But of course, visually, you don't know him. If he's wearing it, if you have the sound turned down, it looks like he's Keith.
Freedom of speech. I don't think he should have been
Should not have been fired.
No.
A Florida woman is threatening to sue Frontier Airlines for kicking her and her support squirrel off the plane. It's a true story. The woman had a note from her doctor saying she needed the squirrel for emotional support. You okay with the airline kicking her and the squirrel off the plane, Ogie?
Yeah, actually, I totally support service dogs, but you can train a dog. You can't train a squirrel. The squirrel could be running around the whole plane. That's just passenger safety issue.
All right, Ursula.
I agree. That's passenger safety, and a squirrel, that's a little much for me.
Keith, I know you have a support squirrel. What do you say?
I don't agree. I think they should have left the squirrel on and kicked her off. She's an idiot.
I tell you what. Now here's a consumer one here. The U.S. Postal Service now wants to raise the price of a quote-unquote forever stamp. You know, they call them forever stamp, from 50 cents to 55 cents. I guess my question is, shouldn't a forever stamp price be forever? And are you okay with the rate hike, Ogie?
Well, I bought a bunch of when they first started, and those are forever. But I'm not surprised that there would be a rate hike eventually, sure.
Yeah, but
the ones that I bought for 50 cents will be good forever.
Well, that's not what they're saying, is it?
Well, they're saying you buy a whole bunch of them now. To forestall the rate hike.
Yeah, but now I'm out. I ran out. Ursula.
They need to change the name. They're not forever.
Yeah.
It should be forever, but I'm okay with it.
All right, finally, a Seattle company is now selling mac and cheese flavored candy canes for the Christmas holidays. Guys and gals, would you want to suck on a mac and cheese candy cane? Ogie Overman.
No, I'm going to pass on that one, Jim.
You don't want a mac
No,
and cheese?
I don't think, not this Christmas.
Ursula, you like candy canes. What a mac and cheese
love
flavored?
candy canes, but not mac and cheese. No,
You would
thanks.
not do that?
No.
Keith, would you have them in your home, or no, you don't want them in there? Keith, what do you think?
I absolutely do not want a mac and cheese candy cane. I want mac and cheese from my grandmother,
Yes.
but not mac and cheese candy cane.
All right, so that's 4
And your
no's.
cheese doodles.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
go
right.
without your
I
cheese
know.
doodles.
That's 4 no's on that. Oh, man. All right, well, that's all the time we have, except for this. A high school cheerleader in Michigan has been arrested for trying to bribe students to vote for her for homecoming queen by giving them marijuana-laced brownies. Teachers first suspected the pot plot during roll call when everyone answered to the name Mary Jane. For all of us here on, you like that, Ogie?
Good.
Yeah, it's
Very
pretty
clever,
good.
Jim.
All right, Ogie and Ursula are going out in the parking lot or something. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, I didn't mean
What else
that.
we gonna be after he plays for
We got a
Carolina?
wide shot of these. Look at these two here. They look alike.
A hook,
right.
line, and sinker.
Yeah, that's all. We'll be back next week.